Hello and welcome to SNL Racing Formula X Season 11, Round 7. It is, of course, Tuesday night, and you know what that means. It's time for the Sunday night league. So, we are here at Road Atlanta. I know this is not the voice you are used to hearing. Unfortunately, our beloved Jam has fallen ill this week, so I will be standing in. Bunnies, I used to do commentary a bit more for SNL, but Jam took over for the most part, but I still am reserve commentator, you might say. So, you'll be here with me tonight as we get to enjoy this exciting race with an exciting title battle. And as you can already see here at Road Atlanta in America, we have a Red Bull on pole position. It is Regimus Prime on pole position. A very excellent qualifying for him, but it was an extremely close qualifying. That is absolutely worth noting. So Regimus qualified on pole. We'll see if I can pull up the qualifying information if my app would stop throwing a fit. There we go. So Regimus with a 103.9498 for pole position. Regimus takes pole for round 7 using a set of the soft tires, but second place on the grid is second place in the championship, and as I say that, I will let you know what Regimus's championship position is. Regimus currently sits excuse me, in 12th position in the championship on 33 points. Having missed the first 3 rounds, he goes into this race having, let's see here, triple softs for his tires, so he will be a dangerous contender starting from pole. I'll run you through the championship order afterwards, I think, actually. For now, I will just let you know their tires, as Bunnies qualifies second place, only 21 thousandths off of pole position. Bunnies on a set of the mediums goes second. He also sits second in the championship. Bunnies enters this race with 2 sets of softs and a set of hards at his disposal. Third place on the grid, the Toro Rosso of Ben. Ben qualified only 55 thousandths off of pole, so only just over half a tenth of a second separated the top 3 in qualifying. Ben qualified on a set of the softs. Ben goes into this race double softs and a set of medium at his disposal. He will also be a dangerous contender. Any of those top 3 could very well win this race. Next up is 4th on the grid. It is the Mercedes of Aloe, the second time we've seen him this season. But I want to remind you, we'll look way back into the past of Formula X, back to Season 5, the last time Formula X came here, and Aloe was the pole sitter on that occasion. Aloe this time qualifying 4th, a 104.440, puts him 9 tenths off of pole position. Aloe qualified on a set of the softs and will have at his disposal soft, medium. 5th on the grid, we go to Gasman. Gasman set a 104.461, so only 21 thousandths off the back of Aloe. Incredibly close qualifying, as we are already seeing here. Gasman qualified on a set of the softs. You'll see that is the trend for about half the grid here, and a very soft set of tires for many people here, including Gasman, who goes triple soft for this round. Starting 5th, he will be dangerous. Next up, Alpha Capri. Alpha Capri qualified on, I'll probably guess, a set of the softs. No, actually, a set of mediums. So Alpha Capri, number 9 there in his Williams, set of mediums for qualifying, puts himself 6th on the grid, just over a second off of pole. Alpha Capri goes into this race with soft, medium. So very, very soft from everyone. We've only seen 1 set of hards so far. Next up is Upgraded. Upgraded qualified on a set, let's see if I can find it, of softs, and he goes triple softs for this race, so the McLaren will be looking to move up positions. He starts right behind his teammate there, We'll see if he can get by him and possibly up the grid even more. Next up is Ajax, championship leader. Ajax qualified on a set of mediums. Ajax, however, is down in 8th position and starts the race. He will have soft, medium, medium. So that's one of the hardest compounds we've seen so far, using double mediums and only one set of softs. I think we'll find he is the only driver having only one set of softs at his disposal. Next up is Slenderfella. Slenderfella qualified 9th, putting himself in a okay position. Slenderfella qualified on a set of soft tires and will start the race with triple softs. So Slenderfella, one to look out for in this race. He could be dangerous. Triple softs. Next up is Bondimus. Bondimus sits 3rd in the championship, number 32, the first of the Renaults on this grid, so not as good of a qualifying for that team as one might usually expect. Bondimus qualifies on softs and will race with triple softs. Bondimus will be looking to move forwards. 3rd in the championship, 10th on the grid does not suit him. He'll be looking to finish much higher up. Next up, Mr. Smith, 11th on the grid, the American at his home race. The second American on the grid. I forgot to mention upgraded, an American driver. So upgraded, qualifying well for his home race. Mr. Smith as well, though, starting in 10th. He qualified on a set of softs. Mr. Smith will, however, race on a set of triple softs. So all soft this weekend for Mr. Smith. Then it's his teammate Jam, our beloved commentator, who's not here today, unfortunately. Jam qualified on a set of hards, one of the only drivers on the grid to do so, one of 3, in fact. Jam, however, will drive with much softer tires than that, going double soft and a set of hards. Next up, Rob on drums, another home driver. Let's see if we can get the glare off of his car. A beautiful Toro Rosso. Number 42, long-term driver and home driver at this race. Rob on drums will start 13th on the grid. Rob qualified on a set of softs and will go with soft, medium for this race. Punisher, next up, the Ferrari driver has qualified, I should say, on a set of mediums and will race with soft, medium as his tires. And finally, last but not least, Lynchimus Prime. Number 69 qualified on a set of hards and will race on triple softs. And you'll notice, of course, an empty grid spot. Silver Phantom, unfortunately unable to make this round, would have qualified on hards, would have raced triple hards. Unfortunate to see him failing to show up. Not sure why, but he was missed in this race. He will be missed in this stream. But that is your grid for today. 15 drivers on this grid. And I have to say, one of the strongest grids Formula X has ever seen. Also one of the most beautiful grids we've ever seen. As you can see, the cars here, just fantastic livery after fantastic livery. Let's go through the championship standings, though. Ajax sits in first on 144 points. 11 points ahead of his brother Bunnies for Ferrari, who sits on 133 points. Further 8 points back is Bondimus Prime. 27 points back is Jam. Jam sits in fourth. As we enter round 7, it does seem like it may be something of a 3-horse race for this title. It'll be difficult for Jam, Ben, etc. to catch up, but Ben, only 4 points off of Jam on 94 points, could catch up to Jam, could take 4th position. Next up, we have Gasman, 18 points behind after 2 disconnects. It's been a tough season for Gasman, but moving up the standings for McLaren on 76 points, he'll be looking to move up closer to Ben and Jam in this race. Punisher, having an excellent season, including a 2nd place at High Speed Ring, sits 4 points off the back of Gasman on 72 points. He is looking strong in 7th. Slenderfella in 8th on 56 points. 0 points back is... I'm getting a phone call. That is not important right now, though. I am commentating. That is far more important. 0 points back is Alpha Capri for Williams, also on 56 points, of course. followed by Rob on drums, the home driver for today, the home hero. We will see 8 points off of Alpha Capri, sitting in 10th in the championship, followed by another American, Mr. Smith, who sits on 39 points, 9 points behind Rob on drums. Then it's Ragemus, who of course missed the first 3 rounds of the championship on 33 points. Silver Phantom debuted last week, took pole, took fastest lap, and took the win on his way to an incredible victory for Mercedes. Silver Phantom sits on 30 points after just 1 round, in 13th in the championship. Of course, not racing today, though, so he only risks falling further down the standings. Upgraded on 29 points, only 1 point behind Silver Phantom. He is in 14th in the championship. Then it's Lynchimus Prime on 20 points. Pat on 11 points, who only was able to attend a couple of races this season, unfortunately. Aloe sits in 17th on 8 points after also only having made round 6 at a topless. And Bailey in 18th, having only unfortunately been able to make round 1. Bailey sits on 5 points. In the teams championship, however, it is also extremely close out front, but seems like a 2-horse race possibly, as Ferrari sits on 205 points between Bunnies and Punisher. Then Williams, Ajax, and Alpha Capri, 5 points behind on 200 points. 145 points is Renault in third, 55 points off the back of Williams. So they sit in a difficult position to try and take the Constructors' Championship with 4 rounds to go. Toro Rosso on 142 points, 3 points off of Renault, so very tight there. And as expected, another tight competitor, Jordan, only sits 5 points off the back of them. So Jordan on 137 points. Then it's a bit of a jump back to Red Bull in 6th in the Constructors on 105 points. Also 105 points for McLaren, so very close battle for 6th. And of course the new team starting in Autopolis, Mercedes on 38 points. Well, that is all the boring, well, semi-boring descriptors. I say boring, it is an incredible championship fight we are gearing up to have. But now we get to go into the even more exciting part. The more exciting part being, of course, the race. So, I hope you are ready because this is going to be an excellent race. Let's get it underway. Ragemus on pole, Bunny second, Ben third, Aloe fourth. That is your top 4. Let's see how it goes. The front 2 rows of the grid, very fast. The rest of the grid just as fast. We have 5 lights on. It's lights out, and we are racing here at Road Atlanta. It is a good start for Ragemus. It's a good start for Bunnies as well, who tucks into his slipstream and goes down the inside, but Ben's going to look down the inside of him into turn 1. He's not able to make the move. Bunny's on the outside, that turns him to the inside as we dive into the S's. He makes the move as Ragemus makes a mistake. He's off into the grass. Ragemus drops down to 4th position, not the start he was looking for. Aloe has dropped a couple positions as well, down to 6th. Ajax putting some pressure on him now. And we look further down the grid, it looks like no major calamities so far in this race as Upgraded gets past Lynchimus there. Up into the front goes Ben. Ben has taken the lead. We have missed that. How has Ben done this? From 3rd on the grid, gets past Ragemus with his mistake out of the S's, tucks in behind Bunnies, and is able to take the outside line. Is he going to make the move? He does round the outside. That is a beautiful move from Ben. Wow. The Toro Rosso driver just slips right past the Ferrari, and Gazman tucks in behind him. The top 3 very close. Ragemus dropping a little bit further back after that mistake, though. Further back, we have side-by-side from Punisher and Aloe. Punisher, from 2nd last on the grid, is already up to 6th position. That is an incredible start from the Canadian. But the other Canadian goes into the lead. It's the other Ferrari driver. Bunny's down the inside of Ben, takes the lead, but Ben gets the switch back up the inside into the final couple of corners. He has the inside line. He swoops through, and Ben is back into the lead after only losing it for a moment. But the inside line into turn 1, he runs wide, and he's into a wall. He's hit a barrier. Ben has crashed. Oh, as Ajax flying by on the grass as well. What has happened to Ajax? We saw what happened to Ben. Just a little bit of a mistake there. You can see him, he runs wide there, almost off the camera, he's so wide. But what has happened to Ajax? Runs a little bit wide as well. Lucky to avoid a barrier. slides back onto the track in a very nice recovery from the championship leader there, number 12, looking to retake number 1, of course, our Season 9 champion there. Further back, no major calamities other than Ben, it seems like, but Bunnies comes under pressure from Gasman now. Gasman will not let him get away from this easily. It is Ferrari, McLaren, Red Bull, 3 legends of Formula 1, slugging it out in Formula X now. Let's see how this goes. It's a little bit further back to Alpha Capri, who is under pressure now from Punisher. Can Punisher pull a move? He's going to go to the outside for the chicane at the end of the lap. It looks like he's got him just into the braking zone. He's already edged ahead, and I believe that looks like a Remembrance Day helmet to me for Punisher. So an interesting, I think I see some poppies on the top there, so an interesting helmet design. Not sure if I am correct saying that is a Remembrance Day design, but it looks like a very nice design either way as we enter the month of November, and it's a Lowy running a little bit wide at turn 1 this time. That is a deceptively tricky corner. It's just about flat out in the right tires, but get in the dirty air, get on the wrong tires, and you really never know. We do have a yellow flag somewhere, but I am struggling to figure out where it was. Oh, it might have been Bondimus, who seems to be dropping some positions. It is! Out of turn 3, Bondimus loops the car. A very quick recovery, some rear end damage and rear left damage, but that'll repair itself soon enough. Dropping some positions though, Bondimus, 3rd in the championship. His championship rivals sit currently in 6th and 1st in the race. Not what he's looking for in this event. A bit of contact there with Upgraded. I wonder if that was some lag. That was very sudden. But no, Bondimus makes the position back, and in fact, we're actually seeing some moves behind from Jam, who's now run wide. Having made a mistake, Ben and Jam both going quite slowly on the exit there, and I need to pull up a track map so I can get these turn numbers right. As we'll see a move around the outside from Ajax on Slenderfella. That was beautiful. Perfect timing to come to that camera angle. What a move from Ajax. Well done to our championship leader who makes that move, now following behind his Williams teammate, albeit at quite a distance back, who sits behind Punisher. Punisher sitting nicely in 4th despite starting 2nd last on the grid. An incredible start for Punisher, up to 4th already. Gasman and Ragemus absolutely going at it though. We'll see who can come out on top come the end of the long straight. No moves into these double right-handers usually. It's very, very difficult to do it here. It's not impossible, but it is difficult. I don't think we'll see any moves on this occasion through there, or we haven't, I should say. But, hard to say, into the chicane, absolutely possible. Gasman pulls out of the slipstream, goes to the inside line. Can he make the move on Ragemus? He does indeed. He makes it stick, gets the braking point right, and he is through into 2nd place, but it's a switchback from Ragemus. The better traction for the Red Bull driver puts him through on the inside. As we begin lap 5, he swoops right back ahead of Gasman. I do thankfully have a track map up so I can start using corner numbers. Wow. So, turn 3 here. I just like knowing the numbers, sorry. It's very nice knowing the numbers. Gasman, though, behind Ragemus, he will be looking to make a move again. Let's look further back. Alpha Capri still putting a lot of pressure here on Punisher. A bit of a lonely race starting to form for Slenderfella. He's in a bit of a no man's land. Bondimus is up to 7th after his earlier spin. We've got some chaos here, though, between Ben and Aloe. Ben is going to swoop to the outside. He'll look for a move into turn 6. As the S's are not technically numbered, they are just called the S's, so this is turn 6 and 7. We'll see. Oh, as Mr. Smith loops it around! Just a bit of a mistake there. What has happened here on board with the American, driving for Jordan into turn 6. Next into turn 7. Does he miss his braking point? It looks like he does, just out onto the grass. Shouldn't have gotten on the throttle quite as aggressively on the grass. Makes a little bit of a mistake. An unfortunate way to have that race start to unravel. We'll see if he can recover that, though, as Jam, his teammate, just slips back past him there. Further back, what has happened to Ajax? There has been an incident here for Ajax. Not quite sure what's happened. I wonder if he's already in last there and he's got damage, so I wonder if perhaps he has spun it at turn 3. An unfortunate event for the championship leader. His championship rival leads the race by the better part of a second, I would say. but Ragemus is not going to let the Canadian streak away. He would like a piece of victory here. Ragemus sitting, of course, in 12th in the championship, goes purple on this occasion. 1:03.7 is a very, very solid lap time for the Red Bull driver. He's going to be hunting down the Canadian who sits second in the championship. Ragemus, as I said, wants a piece of the glory here today. He will be doing everything he can to win on American soil. The Brit is going to see what he can do. A Scotsman behind him, though, so we have 3 different nationalities in the top 3. A Canadian, a Brit, and a Scot. Interesting to see how that will go. Punisher, though, still sits in 4th, and I just cannot get over how excellent that start must have been, going from 2nd last on the grid to 6th on the opening lap, and not much later, he's in 4th position. Really excellent start for Punisher there. A bit of a wobble there for Alpha Capri. That is not going to be what the Williams driver wants to see. Let's look further up. No moves yet in the top 3. Going further back, we'll see how is the chaos going back here. How are things unraveling? It looks like Mr. Smith is going to go for a move on his teammate. The 2 Jordans side by side. We'll see how this goes into turn 10A and turn 10B. Mr. Smith already ahead before the braking zone, makes it stick. He goes a little bit wide, but so does Jam. Will Jam be able to fight back on his teammate on the exit of the corner? Big save there from Mr. Smith, doing something a former Jordan driver was unable to do back in Season 5 on the last lap of the race. Cool Dude Boy spinning out of that corner in his Jordan on that day. Mr. Smith today saves the car. And that spin, of course, costing Cool Dude Boy the win on that occasion. To our current race leader, Bunnies, will not actually go away from this, though, because Ben just made a move on his teammate, Rob on drums, the home driver. I believe he's the highest running American at the moment in this race, but as I was saying, Bunnies on that occasion in Season 5 won for Lotus. We'll see if he can repeat that today, but between Ragemus and Gasman, he has some tough competition as he sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:03.676. So pulling away a little bit there. Matter of fact, he's pulled away by about 0.7 of a second from Ragemus on the previous lap, who was half a second faster than Gasman. So Bunny's really pulling away out front now. Punisher and Alpha Capri have closed right back up, running quite literally nose to tail. We'll see if Alpha Capri can make a move here, surely not through the S's. Into turn 5, he sits behind. Surely he'll sit behind into turn 6 as well. A move into turn 10A and 10B would make sense. Turn 6, 7 here. There are 2 kinks on this straight. Those count as turn 8 and turn 9. This will be turn 8 here, and then there will be a kink to the right later. That is turn 9. And I tell you what, Slenderfella is not far off the back of this battle either. The Red Bull driver not wanting to fall back off the back of the Williams and the Ferrari. 2 historic teams here battling it out in Formula X around the outside for Alpha Capri. Unable to make the move. Punisher just about holds position in 4th. Through the final corner, that is of course turn 12. And it's going to be Slenderfella now looking for a move on Alpha Capri. Can he pull it off? Oh, he even goes on a Punisher, and there's contact there. Punisher sent flying off the road. Oh dear, let's take a look at that. On board with Punisher. How does this go? Oh, just knocked to the side, it looks like, from Slenderfella. We'll go back again, even go on board with Slenderfella. Or I tell you what, I bet on board with Alpha Capri will provide us a nice view here. So Alpha Capri, he will be looking in his mirrors. There's Slenderfella, who goes to the inside. No bump drafting, so Alpha Capri decides to lift off, and just a bit of a silly move there from Slenderfella knocks Punisher off to the side, and those are indeed poppies on Punisher's helmet. Slenderfella redresses the position immediately, and that is excellent to see. Good to remember that this league all about sportsmanship, even more than results at times. Sportsmanship is the biggest thing here, and you love to see it, as I think Ragemus has made a mistake. His front end is damaged. What has happened to Ragemus? We were all captivated by Punisher and Slenderfella, while the other Red Bull has a mistake of his own into turn 3. Oh, it's just not what you want to see. Out of turn 3, a bit too much curb, spins it around. A pretty good recovery there, though, in reverse, getting himself onto the recovery road. And there you go. Ragemus back into this race, only drops one position for the time being, but Alpha Capri, he'll see this, he'll know out that Ragemus has damage, and he already goes to the inside for turn 6. Alpha Capri up into third for Williams. I do just love the display of the different teams here. We have 6 different teams in the top 6, with Ferrari leading the race, McLaren in second, third Williams, fourth Red Bull, fifth Renault, sixth is Toro Rosso. Those top 5 teams, legendary teams of the sport. Toro Rosso, in its own right, got a bit of a legend of its own. So many name changes and a couple of midfield wins right there with them. But it is chaos further back as Rob on drums is going to look to make a move on Slenderfella. We'll see, can Aloe pull off a move as well? Aloe got his first ever pole position in SNL here, unable to pull off a move at the moment as Slenderfella loses the position to Ben, but is able to defend from Aloe. Entering lap 10 now, Slenderfella to the inside. Can he pull off the move? He does. No, Rob on drums, what a switchback. Rob on drums retakes the position, and that was a slick move from Rob on drums. Well done there to the American driver on home soil. I always love when a driver has a home race, and that is good to see Rob on drums having a good time at his home race, Road Atlanta. But it's Slenderfella who pulls off a move into turn 6. No, he doesn't. He's wide. Can he save it? No. Crashes between 6 and 7. Oh, and Slenderfella just struggling to get it going there. No point watching his woes. Rob on drums, though, will have a bit of pressure from Aloe still. He has disposed of Slenderfella after that small mistake from Slenderfella. Rob on drums. Ooh, bit of contact there. Rob keeps himself on the track. Well done to him for that. That looked like a hard hit. I think just Aloe expecting Rob on drums to be a bit faster than he was through there. Ragemus Prime, I have missed this, has gotten back through on Alpha Capri. So that is good to see from Ragemus Prime back up into third. Those softs taking a beating. And I tell you what, we're over 10 laps into the race. It is time to take a look at the tires. First, second, third, all on softs. So that's Bunnies, Gasman, and Ragemus all starting on softs. It is mediums for Alpha Capri, though. To start off the race, he will be looking to go far on these mediums, I would assume. Bondimus managing those softs quite nicely if you look at the wear of other soft drivers. But Bondimus on softs as well. Ben on softs. Mediums for Rob on drums, sitting in 7th. That is quite strong for him. Mediums for Aloe as well. Softs and damage for Upgraded. What has happened to Upgraded here? Makes the same mistake as Slenderfella. A bit of a different recovery. Still hits the wall nonetheless and picks up some damage into the Tech Pro barriers for Upgraded. Upgraded, however, making that mistake on the softs. Punisher on softs as well. Ajax on mediums, Jam on hards, Slenderfella on softs. Jam hasn't taken a pit stop, has he? He's had a 118 lap, but I don't think that was a pit stop. I think that will have been a mistake. Softs for Slenderfella, and we've missed what tires Mr. Smith started the race on, but he has switched over to softs, and I believe Mr. Smith is triple softs nonetheless. So can be assumed that he would have started on softs. He is indeed triple softs, so I would hope that he started on softs. We have blue flags for a moment there as Bunnies is ahead of Mr. Smith now. In fact, it's Gasman coming up behind Mr. Smith. So that is the curse of this circuit. It is such a long pit stop for such a short track that you often will find yourself getting lapped when you take a pit stop only 12 laps into this race. Mr. Smith already a lap down. Will Jam come out a lap down? It looks like he will indeed, as Bunnies goes past the pit exit, and Jam still in the pits. So indeed, both Jordans a lap down. The late, great Eddie Jordan would not be too thrilled to be seeing this, unfortunately for him. Gasman, however, sits in second. Oh, as that was one of the Jordans getting out of the way there. I think Jam, perhaps. No, Mr. Smith getting out of the way, I think. Just caught me off guard there. Didn't expect to see a Jordan in the screen so suddenly. But Ragemus is under pressure from Alpha Capri here. These two drivers, very, very tough to beat in a battle. I'd say two of the most aggressive battlers in SNL. And therefore, I would not want to come up against either of them in a fight. They are both very, very rapid drivers. Great battling skills, but a clash between them as a clash of the Titans in a sense. I would be very, very interested to see how a battle between these two goes. I hope they do get into some battling soon. Bondimus not too far off the back of them either. Bondimus will be looking to get up towards Ragemus. The two of them, good friends, joined at the same time. But Bondimus, I have to say, massive props to Bondimus this season, who has taken a humongous step up from his performances in previous seasons. Well done to him. He sits in 5th, and he is looking to close on Alpha Capri and Ragemus. Could this be close enough for a move from Alpha Capri? No, he thinks better of it, doesn't want to do anything silly into turn 1. Alpha Capri's happy to sit behind until he sees a good moment. Maybe waiting for turn 10A and turn 10B. We'll see if he can pull that off. That is the chicane towards the end of the lap, of course. Bit of screeching from the tires there. One of the lapped cars, perhaps. Slenderfella is not a lap down, I don't believe. But, of course, both Jordans are. Oh, as Bondimus was very, very close to Alpha Capri there. And that's good to see the Jordan getting out of the way there very nicely. No impeding whatsoever from him. Ben sits a little ways behind this battle. Almost around about 6 odd seconds back. As Ragemus and Alpha Capri makes the move around the outside into 10A. And through 10B, it remains in front of Ragemus, but Ragemus decides it is time to pit off of those soft compound tires, and Bondimus follows him into the pits. The two primes going into the pits. Alpha Capri will take second as Gasman also in the pits. Ben follows them in. Aloe will do the same. Rob decides to stay out on a set of mediums, though. Aloe was on mediums, deciding to pit nonetheless, although he's the only medium runner we've seen pit so far. Punisher stays out on those softs. Ajax stays out. Slenderfella will enter the pits, perhaps? Yes, he does. So Slenderfella, the Red Bull driver, follows his teammate into the pits. Both of the Jordans have already pitted. Bunnies has chosen to stay out. Will he stay out again? Lap 15, he chooses to go one further at least. Bunnies leads this race with quite a gap to Alpha Capri there, a full sector ahead. Gasman out of the pits, though, on another set of the softs. Gasman is looking strong here. Alpha Capri coming out of 10B. Gasman going through turn 9 now. This little kink to the right does constitute as turn 9, according to the track map I'm looking at. He makes it through these corners nicely and up over the crest of the hill. There is a yellow flag. Who is this for? Has somebody had an incident? I'm not seeing anybody who's had an incident, as we do only have 13 drivers in this race now. I don't see upgraded anymore, so I think he may have had a disconnect, unfortunately. Very sad to see that. The home driver for McLaren. It's a shame to see that. You never like to see those internet failures, but unfortunately upgraded, unable to finish this race. Especially for a home driver, though, that really is quite sad to see, as Gasman very close behind a Jordan who hops off the circuit to get out of the way, and a bit of a mistake there puts him into the barrier out of turn 7, but gets reset to the track, so he will be back underway anytime now. Ajax under pressure from Bondimus. Ajax yet to pit in this race. Bondimus fresh off his first pit stop on a set of softs. He'll look to make a move on Ajax, goes to the outside, and that was an easy move. A lot of overtake being used to do it, but nonetheless, well before the braking zone, Bondimus is ahead, and he's only got Ragemus Prime right in front of him, as Mr. Smith, I think that was, possibly going into the pits again, or possibly just getting out of the way. Rob on drums into the pits, though. The American decides it is time to take off that set of mediums. The two primes very close together. Gasman, however, running away from this. Oh, is there synchronized spinning? Was there a crash together there, or was that just perfect synchronization from the good friends? Ragemus, bit too much curb. Bondimus, bit too much curb. And both of them spin round. And I think that would make for a pretty good highlight reel moment. Synchronized spinning. We've seen synchronized swimming, synchronized diving. Now we've got synchronized spinning. Those two, they say friends can be very well in tune with each other. Seems like those two a bit too in tune with each other, both spinning at the same moment. So, Bunny's into the pit lane, off a set of softs. We'll see what he puts on afterwards. Alpha Capri stays out another lap. He should take the lead of the race here. And he does indeed. A Williams leads the way for the first time in this race. Bunnies comes out of the pits on another set of softs. He is a solid distance ahead of Gasman. Hard to say exactly how far ahead, of course, with that outlap time. Hard to calculate the distance between them. Ajax comes into the pits same lap as his brother. Off a set of the mediums, though. Bondimus will usurp 4th position from the pitting Ajax. Ben will take 6th, he'll take 5th now. Then between Bondimus and Ragemus now, Ragemus seeming to come off worse from that spin than Bondimus did. Aloe up to the top of the hill. We know Aloe likes this track. He's done well here previously. Sitting in 7th, we'll see what he can do this time round. I'm very excited to see if he can have a strong closer to this race. Of course, Aloe having soft, mediums. So he's on his second set of... No, apologies, he started on mediums, I believe. So on his first set of softs, he will have a strong closer, I would imagine, as some drivers will be using their harder compounds to finish out the race. Rob on Drums sits in 8th in his home race. The Toro Rosso driver running a nice race, just fresh out of the pits on a set of softs. Ajax behind, and Punisher not far behind him, so the two Canadians reasonably close together here in this race. This is not the Ferrari Ajax would have been hoping to battle. He'll be looking at his position and seeing his championship lead dwindle away, sitting in 9th, while his teammate keeps Bunnies in 2nd, but his teammate Alpha Capri will have to pit soon enough off this set of mediums. Bunnies on a set of the softs will be hunting him down. What is the gap that Bunnies has to Gasman? He has roundabout, I would say, 10-odd seconds? 7 or 8 seconds, I would say. So Gasman, not out of striking distance should Bunnies make a mistake, but he's going to need to pick up the pace now if he's going to catch up, and he's really going to need to pick up the pace after that. Bunnies sets a 1:03.3. That is the fastest lap of the race so far, and a very fast one at that. As we hit the halfway point of this race, though, Alpha Capri leads the way, still needs to make his first pit stop. Bunnies, after his first pit stop, sits 2nd, closing in on Alpha Capri. Gasman is in 3rd, Bondimus is in 4th, Ben sits 5th, 6th for Ragemus, 7th for Aloe, 8th is Rob, 9th is Ajax as it stands, 10th is Punisher, 11th for Jam, 12th for Slenderfella, and 13th for Mr. Smith. So I think the conclusion that everyone watching can draw at this stage in the race is that this is one of the trickiest tracks on the calendar. The high curves at turn 3 cause a lot of mistakes. The high commitment, high speed, swooping first corner, lots of mistakes coming out of there as well, and with barriers set up to stop you on the exit, as Bunnies thinks better of it into that turn 1, that tricky turn 1. Does not make a mistake, but it looked like it could have been close. Is he going to look for a move through the S's? Surely not. The Ferrari driver thinks better of it. A tiny bit of contact there, it looked like, but nothing too detrimental. Through turn 5, easy to make mistakes out of here as well. In previous seasons, we've seen drivers spinning off the exit of that corner. We've seen some drivers run wide through turn 6 as well, causing spins into and through turn 7. 1 or 2 wide moments at turn 7 as well. Well, I'm realizing at this point, I'm just about listing every corner on the track and saying, this one's tricky, this one is tricky, this one is also tricky. So I would say the entire track is tricky, as Bunnies makes a move on the only non-tricky part of the track, the long straight between turn 7 and 10A and 10B. I call it a straight despite the fact there are 2 corners in there. They are kinks. They are not real corners. You can fight me on this. I don't care. Gasman sits in 3rd, though. He will see that Alpha Capri is behind Bunnies now, and he will be thinking, damn, that may have been my best shot if Alpha Capri could just hold up Bunnies. But Bunnies making swift work of him. I think Alpha Capri smart enough here to run his own race. He didn't look like he defended that too hard. He is just making these mediums last. And boy, is he doing it well. Look at the wear on those tires, or moreover, look at the lack of wear on those mediums. He is bringing these mediums a very long distance, and his pace has remained solid throughout the race as well. I think a round of applause for Alpha Capri so far in this race, and I'm willing to bet he will be even faster when he puts on his 2 sets of softs. Further back, let's take a look into the midfield of this race. We always get incredible action throughout the entire field in SNL. Interesting to see some gaps spreading out a little bit here. There's a yellow flag. I wonder who that would be for. I'm not quite sure. I'm not seeing damage on anyone. So I'm not quite sure who that yellow flag was for, but Punisher sitting in 10th. An interesting race for him so far. I want to talk about him for a moment because he qualified second last after a mistake at turn 7 in the qualifying turn 7, of course, the right-hander that he's taking right now. A bit of a mistake there in qualifying put him second last on the grid, but he recovered to 6th on the first lap, then up to 4th, but then after an incident or two was knocked way back down the grid. But what that tells us is that Punisher has some incredible pace here today. Frankly, he's had some incredible pace throughout the season. A real breakout season for him it has been, with a maiden podium for him in high speed ring, only a few thousandths off the win, where Jam, as he often seems to do in Japan, took the victory on that occasion. But Punisher, what a season it has been so far, and I'm curious to see if he can continue to climb his way back up the field here. Ragemus, a dwindling gap to Ben. I think Ben has been gaining on him. Granted, their past lap was incredibly even, both 104.5s. The previous lap, however, for Ragemus actually was a bit faster, so I almost wonder if Ragemus just overtook Ben. But Ben's sitting in the slipstream. We're on board with him here. You can see Bondimus up in front. Bondimus is not free from this duo. This trio, I should say, has been very close-knit throughout the race, and they are 3 of the fastest guys on the grid. Bondimus sitting 3rd in the championship. All 3 of these 3 previous Formula X winners. Ben winning in Season 10 at Monza. Ragemus taking a couple victories, I believe, between the Nordschleife in Season 10 and Spa-Francorchamps in Season 10. Both of those for Alfa Romeo. Ben's victory for Benetton. Bondimus, however, the most recent of these 3 winners, having taken the victory this season in Season 11 at round 3, I believe. No, apologies, round 4 in Spain, Circuit Barcelona de Catalunya. An excellent win for him on that day. Alpha Capri finally dives into the pits. It has been 24 long laps on these tires, and they must have been screaming, except it seems he was doing something special to them to avoid that. I have no idea how he's brought those mediums so long, but props to him for it, and let's see how well it pays off. Is he going to be ahead of Ragemus even? He is indeed, as I'm noticing Ragemus has gotten Bondimus. What has happened here? Wonder if there was a mistake for Bondimus, a little bit wide onto the grass, and therefore just cannot get the power down, and that is a slick move for Ragemus Prime, who moves up into 4th place. Looking very good for him here. Bondimus in 5th, Ben in 6th. He is not going to let these guys get away. Into the cockpit cam for this driver. We get a driver's eye view through the S's up towards turn 5. Oh no, a bit of a mistake there for Bondimus. Oh, I flipped around to completely the wrong person there. Let's go off board. Watch Bondimus again. What happened here? Did he just brake too late? This is what I'm talking about. Turn 5 is such a tricky corner. You brake a little bit too late, you're off into the curb, into the gravel, and frankly, I'm impressed Bondimus did that without spinning. I've seen so many people spin out of turn 5 over the years. We saw it in Season 5, I think with both Aloe and Cool Dude Boy on that occasion. Both Jordans on that occasion. Seems like the Jordans having a tougher time this season, though. It has been 6 seasons. My god, it's been 6 seasons? That's absurd. Wow. So, props to anybody who has been in SNL for that long. I believe Slenderfella saying in the Discord earlier that this is indeed the 2-year anniversary of him joining SNL. So congratulations to Slenderfella on his 2 years in SNL. It has been a tough race today. In fact, I think he may have had a internet failure. Oh dear, I think he has had an internet failure. Oh, that is such a shame. 2 years on from joining. Ooh, was a bit of a mistake from Mr. Smith there. A nice save, though. Keeps it going. And as Bunny's right behind Punisher now, so lapping Punisher, which means that only the top 8 remain on the lead lap of this race. But it is a good gap back up to Rob on drums. So Rob looking safe from being lapped here. And boy, what a race we are having. Ben still right on the back of Ragemus, but Bondimus has dropped further off the back, so I wonder if another mistake there for the Renault driver, as this race has been absolutely coming to pieces for 2 of the 3 main championship contenders. Ajax, our championship leader, just unable to make progress out of 10th position at the moment. The Canadian will not be too pleased with this, as his brother and main championship rival leads the race as it stands. And of course, Bondimus has been having some excellent battles, some excellent pace, but these mistakes have dropped him back to 7th now, and the Renault driver will be wondering what could he do to regain these positions. For the time being, he may have to rely on mistakes from Aloe, Ben, and Ragemus to regain that 4th position that he was sitting in so nicely earlier. But also worth noting, Alpha Capri does not sit that far ahead of Ragemus. Now, that being said, Ragemus has about halfway wear on his front left on his softs. Alpha Capri, on such fresh softs, you can barely see the wear. So Alpha Capri sitting in a very nice position now, and that long stint, all he did was extend, and that overcut has worked wonders for the Brit, who sits in 3rd position now. Well done to him on his strategy call. We'll see if he can pull it off throughout the rest of the race with his softs. Gasman is the main person fighting for the win outside of the race leader. He's got quite a comfortable gap as somebody is spun. Who is that is spun? It looks to be Mr. Smith in the background there, having spun out of turn 3. Such an easy place to spin it. We've seen it countless times already in this race alone. Alpha Capri, though, sits in 3rd. Quite a sizable gap up to Gasman. Gasman, however, has a pretty significant gap to Bunnies. We'll take a look here what the gap is at the end of this lap. When Gasman crosses the line, it's about a 13-second gap to Bunnies. So Gasman sitting a ways behind Bunnies, not really in striking distance anymore. If Bunnies were to spin at turn 3, 5, 6, 7... 10B, 11, basically any corner here, because you can spin at pretty much any corner here. If you were to spin, Gasman would be in a very strong position to try and take the lead, but for the time being, Bunnies can just avoid mistakes, and he should be in a strong position to win this race. Alpha Capri, though, sitting in 3rd, has run such a great race, and Ben is a little ways behind as we see Ragemus into the pits now. Ragemus, I believe, triple soft on this occasion. Indeed, he is. So he'll be putting on another set of the softs. Bondimus, however, has gone... What has Bondimus gone for this race? He has also gone triple softs for this race. So another set of softs for him as well, I would hope. Aloe moves up into 6th. Will he be ahead of Bondimus? He is indeed. Bondimus, of course, Bondimus had a mistake a few laps ago, so Aloe, yes indeed, is ahead of him. Gasman enters the pits now. Punisher sitting in 7th. He's not far off of Aloe, but I believe Punisher only having made 1 pit stop for this race? No, I tell you what, I think he has made a 2nd pit stop. I'm not entirely certain of that fact, though. So Alpha Capri takes 2nd place as Gasman is going to come out of the pits now, and Gasman is going to put on a set of the softs. He is triple softs today. Many drivers going very aggressive here, going triple softs. Alpha Capri moves up into 2nd, though. Alpha Capri still needing to make 1 more pit stop in this race. Bunnies, wow, look at that gap. Alpha Capri exits the 1st sector. Bunnies finishes the lap. Wow. So Bunnies is coming up to lap somebody else here. Who would that be? I am not quite sure. Would it be Ragemus? Is it Ragemus that he's coming up to lap? It seems to be. It is indeed. So Only the top 5 remain unlapped in this race, although Bunnies does still need to make one more pit stop, and he will be putting on a set of the hards. So, Alpha Capri, Gasman, if you are looking for one little bit of hope in this race, it's the fact that your main rival for the race win is going to be putting on hards next, and who doesn't make mistakes on hards? They are a tricky tire to deal with as Ben comes into the pits, 4th place on the road. Where will he drop to? I would imagine he'll drop behind Ragemus, who is now getting blue flags from the car behind. Aloy sits in 6th, not too far ahead of Punisher. Punisher sits in a comfortable 7th. Bondimus in 8th will be looking to make up some ground. Rob in 9th. Rob on drums in 9th in his home race, running a pretty smooth race so far. We haven't seen too much calamity for him. Punisher enters the pits, so that will be his last pit stop of the race, as Bunnies is right behind Ragemus here with the blue flags, and if he can get him, only the top 3 will remain unlapped in this race. So we'll see if Ragemus chooses to move out of the way of the blue flags. The Red Bull driver, I can't imagine he'll want to. He is sitting in 4th position. It will be a bizarre feeling to be having such a good race and be having blue flags. He's going to move out of the way, it seems, as Bunnies is actually on the overtake to get past, and a 102.9 on the last lap of the race for him. On lap 31 on those worn softs, goes into the 102s, and I do think he's the only driver we've seen do that so far, and I wouldn't be surprised if he remains the only driver to do so for the remainder of the race. Although, the lighter fuel loads as we get this far into the race will make it more viable to do faster lap times. I also do think that at this track, going later into the day as we approach the evening is a very fast, or is a good addition to your speed. I do think it makes the conditions a bit better and likely improves pace a bit, therefore. So the top 3 remain unlapped, but they are the only ones. So as it stands for everyone else, it is a 39-lap race now, although Bunny's still needing to take a pit stop should drop behind a number of these drivers when he does eventually go into the pits. Ajax leading the championship, sitting in 9th. He's not far off the back of Rob on drums now, so maybe a glimmer of hope here if he can catch and pass the American. It's America versus Canada. We saw this in the World Series of Baseball recently, just a few days ago, in fact. As a Canadian, I'll acknowledge that I'm a bit sore about the fact the Blue Jays lost, but as the Americans have won it on Canadian soil, it does look like a Canadian is in good position to win it on American soil. So perhaps a bit of payback there for Bunnies. Ragemus sitting in 4th. He's got the red light on his overtake, so this is a good time to talk about that. You can see here, Gasman has a green light on the overtake. That means that he has 25% or more of his overtake remaining in this race. Ragemus, on the other hand, has red. That means he has 25% or less of his overtake remaining. And though I'm not... Oh, there's a yellow flag. I do wonder who that's for. It looks like it might have been for one of... Indeed, it does seem to be for Mr. Smith. And Mr. Smith, actually, good timing to come to him because he gives me an opportunity to talk about the other option for the light. You'll see that there is no light above the driver's head on Mr. Smith's car. That means that he is out of overtake. So a useful bit there for spectating to know without looking at the bottom right of your screen where you can see how much overtake is left. Without looking there, it's a good way to gauge, generally speaking, how much overtake they have. If they're green, they're probably pretty comfortable, especially given our current settings where we have a bit more overtake than we have in previous seasons. Or if they're red, they might be struggling a little bit. Maybe they had to push a fair bit in previous stints, like Alpha Capri here has red. Or if they've just got no light at all, they've had to push a lot, and they just are outright out of overtake, which can be a dangerous position to be in should you come across somebody who is red or green on their overtake. Now, that is, of course, useful for us spectators, but it's also very useful for the drivers. You'll see here, as Bunnies actually, I think, has dropped back behind Ragemus. We'll pretend for a moment that Bunnies and Ragemus are battling. We go on board with, let's go on board with Ragemus. He's battling, he knows he's low on overtake. He looks back and he sees green on top of Bunny's head. that means he has more Bunnies has more overtake than him, so he knows he has to be very cautious with his overtake in an effort to avoid being overtaken easily. So it's a really useful it's a very useful tidbit for the drivers to know as well, because it means that they can gauge just how hard they can afford to battle. If you come up against someone who doesn't have a light and you have green, you know you can absolutely blitz the overtake. It's a very nice feeling. As Bunnies has entered the pits here, puts on a set of the hards now, you would hope. Given that is his only remaining tire, he does indeed, puts on a set of the hards, but Gasman only at the pit entrance while Bunnies exits the pits, so Bunnies on hards will be more prone to mistakes now, but sits with a pretty comfortable lead to Gasman at the end of the next lap. We'll try to see what the gap between them is. Alpha Capri also on an outlap, but putting on the softs, an equally massive gap between Alpha Capri and Gasman there. Ragemus sits in fourth. He's not far off the back of Alpha Capri, but with slightly older softs, he'll have a hard time keeping up, I think. Ben, not far off the back of Ragemus. Aloe separates Ben and Bondimus. Bondimus, of course, was up with those other two earlier in the race, but has fallen down the order following some mistakes. Aloe sits in a comfortable sixth. I believe his result here back in Season 5 was 4th place. And I would often argue that Aloe's pole back in Season 5 here was one of the most iconic moments we've seen in Formula X. So I'm curious to anybody watching the stream who's been here for a little while, I want you to tell me what you think in your mind is the most iconic or legendary moment in SNL that you can think of. Or if you're watching the stream delayed, let me know in the Discord what you think it is. Because really, we've had some incredible moments over the years. And I'm always curious to know what people think some of the most legendary and iconic moments are. Now, we are entering the closing stages of this race. Everybody should have taken their final pit stop by now. If you are taking a pit stop now, unfortunately it is illegal and you will be handed a time penalty, so I do hope everybody has started their final stints. We've got Jam and the Punisher very close together here. We'll see if the Jordan driver can get past the Canadian Ferrari driver. In the slipstream, he's got overtake. Will it be a viable move? He looks pretty far back, does Jam, and Punisher has a bit more overtake left than he does, so Punisher maybe a bit more comfortable in this race than Jam. Punisher, in fact, has that green light compared to Jam's red light. As I was explaining earlier, that will be a bit of a comfort for Punisher. The Canadian will be looking to have a strong finish to this race, not wanting to drop behind the Brit of Jam. So Gasman sets a 103.3 on the previous lap. That is a very strong lap time, only 4/10 off the fastest lap of the race so far. And the McLaren driver is looking strong. Goes green in the first sector. And let's just watch how he navigates turns 6 and 7. A little bit misses the apex perhaps in turn 7, but does manage the exit very nicely, so he shouldn't take too much pain for that. As I think we have, that is a bit of a spin for Mr. Smith, it seems like. Still a battle going on between Punisher and Jam, but also up ahead, we have Rob and Ajax still slugging it out. We mentioned them earlier being reasonably close together. Ajax still looking to get past the American. We'll see if there is a viable move in the near future here. We've got two Canadians battling. Jam is ahead of Punisher. How has he made this move stick? Let's see, into 10A and 10B. He's going to go round the outside. Could it be a switchback? Has there perhaps been a mistake for Punisher? No, it just seems like excellent traction for Jam. Wow. That is just, wow. That is a really nice move for Jam. I've never seen traction quite like that out of turn 10B. What a move for Jam. I think he'll be pleased with that one. Rob on drums pulling away a little bit from Ajax through the first sector of the lap, but with the dirty air, I'd say that is to be expected as Ajax throws one to the inside of turn 6, thinks better of it in the end, backs out of the move, and probably for the better. That could have been some pretty disastrous contact there, if not for his thinking better of it, but he'll be in the slipstream now, down towards 10A. Let's sit here and see what he can do. Oh, but Rob is pulling so far away down the straight. Rob just has the straight line speed, and he looks comfortable here. So, as we enter the final lap of the race for Gasman, that means it is already the final lap of the race for Bunnies, the Canadian, the Ferrari driver, looking unstoppable today. But there's still the better part of a lap to go. We don't want to curse him into a mistake. Alpha Capri going through 10A, 10B now. We'll see. He should be able to navigate the next lap. A brilliant strategy from the Williams driver should put him in third position, should put him on the podium as we see a yellow flag, but I'm not quite sure who it was for. Maybe Ben? I thought he was ahead of Aloe. Doesn't seem to be. So not quite... Oh, there's somebody spinning up there. It's Mr. Smith. An unfortunate spin for the American again, having a tough race on home soil. Not what he will have been looking for. Rageabus sits in fourth. Aloe enters the final lap in fifth. Ben in sixth. Bonimus will be in seventh. Rob is in eighth. Still battling with Ajax. Ajax is a lap down on his brother and championship rival, but it is Bunnies who's going to come home victorious in Road Atlanta. The Canadian wins on American soil, and that is victory for the Ferrari driver, his second time this season, and what a drive to get it. Gasman is going to come home in second. We've seen him at the top end of races so frequently, and after a tough season, it's another second place for Gasman. That is a good result for the Scotsman. And Alpha Capri, what a strategy it has been. He has been my standout of the race on strategy, at least. That long, extending medium stint put him in a perfect position to use a couple sets of the softs, and he comes home on the podium. Alpha Capri gets third. Ragemus, after pole position, takes home fourth. Aloe is going to get fifth here. It was fourth last time, I believe. It's fifth this time. 6 seasons later, Ben takes sixth, right behind Aloe, and Bondimus will be the last one to cross the line, as 8 onwards were lapped and have already crossed the line. I have missed them, unfortunately. Bondimus comes home 7th, spins it across the line, but what does it matter? He takes 7th place. Rob on drums was 8th. Ajax, not quite able to get him in the end, is 9th. Punisher, not far off the back then, in 10th. Jam, right off the back of the Canadian, is 11th, and Mr. Smith, a tough race for him on home soil, takes home 12th. So, what a race it has been. Bunnies takes first. It is second place for Gasman and third for Alpha Capri at Road Atlanta. That has been an impressive result for many drivers. Bunnies should be happy with that result. After, of course, in the real world, the Canadian team losing to the American team in baseball, the Canadian driver wins on American soil. I think that will be a form of revenge or payback for him. And with that, he will also take the lead of the championship provisionally. Stewards report not yet released, but as it stands, the provisional championship order will be Bunnies in first place on 163 points. Ajax in second on 152. Bondimus will remain in third, as there's an 11-point gap between first and second still, but it's the other way around. So suddenly the lead that Ajax had becomes the lead that Bunnies has. Bondimus in third, as I said, only 15 points off. 15 points off of Ajax, that is. Ben sits in fourth. Fifth will be Jam, 4 points separating those two, 29 points between Ben and Bondimus. Gasman will move up to sixth in the championship on 101 points, only further 3 points behind Jam. Punisher will sit in seventh now, 79 points to his name, 78 points for Alpha Capri in eighth. Slenderfellow will take ninth on 59 points, 58 points, however, for Rob on drums in 10th. Ragemus will move up to 11th with that result on 51 points. 44 points for Mr. Smith equals his race number of 44. Mr. Smith sits in 12th in the championship now, provisionally. Silver Phantom, of course, no points from this round, not able to attend, unfortunately, on 30 points, sits in 13th. Upgraded, unable to take points from this round, gets to stay in 14th. Aloe will be 15th after this round, moving up a couple positions after that 5th place, a good result for him. Lynchmus will be in 16th, Pat will be 17th, and Bailey will be 18th. That is the drivers. I unfortunately do not have a provisional Constructors' Championship, but I suspect Ferrari will pull away a little bit more now. And with that in mind, I will just quickly run you through the remainder of the season calendar-wise, because we only have 3 races left, and they are set to be an incredible 3 races. First off, Nürburgring GP, 32 laps. That will be this coming weekend. Then we will go to Tokyo Expressway, east clockwise, 23 laps. That is a very high-speed circuit. We've seen bunnies when they're in past. Be interesting to see if he can repeat that. That's what he did today. Won in Season 5, wins again in Season 11 at Road Atlanta. Won in Season 7 at Tokyo Expressway. We'll see if he can win again in Season 11. And then Mount Panorama, Round 10. Previously, we've seen, I believe it was Speckmere possibly. No, apologies. It was Matt Psycho won there back in Season 6. 26 laps this time around. That will round out the season. A chance of rain in Nürburgring and Tokyo Expressway. I don't believe there's a chance of rain at Mount Panorama, but I could be mistaken about that. We have 3 exceptional tracks coming up next, and a championship battle that nobody wants to look away from. This has been SNL Sunday Night League, admittedly on a Tuesday. We wish well to Jam. Hope he is feeling better soon. Always love doing commentary, but I think Jam's commentary will always be missed whenever we don't get it, so hopefully he is feeling up to doing the Nürburgring commentary next time around. Thank you to everybody who watched. It was an excellent race. I very much enjoyed commentating on it. It's been quite a while since I last did commentary, so a bit rusty, but a lot of fun nonetheless. This has been SNL Formula X Season 11. Wow, words are not working for me. SNL Formula X Season 11, Round 7 at Road Atlanta. Thank you to everybody who watched, and goodbye.